The avoidance' biggest mistake was thinking you'd wait forever. They thought your silence meant patience. But really, it was you realizing they'd already said everything you needed to hear by saying nothing at all. You see, when someone keeps pulling away, giving you crumbs of attention, half-hearted effort, and endless mixed signals, they're not confused. They're comfortable. They think you'll keep showing up no matter how little they give. They think your loyalty is unconditional. Your love is unbreakable. Your hope is eternal. And maybe it was for a while. You tried to understand. You justified the distance. You told yourself maybe they just need time. But here's the truth. The avoidant doesn't fear losing you. They fear needing you, and that fear keeps them in the game just enough to not lose you completely, but never enough to truly choose you. The biggest mistake they make, they think you'll wait forever, but one day something inside you shifts, not out of anger, not out of revenge, but out of peace. You stop chasing clarity. You stop begging for consistency. You just stop. And that's the moment they realize the silence they once took for granted is now the silence they can't escape. Because when you finally choose yourself, you become the lesson they never wanted to learn. Silence is one of the most misunderstood forms of communication. People often mistake it for weakness, for apathy, for giving up. But silence can be one of the most powerful things you ever choose. It's not about having nothing to say. It's about realizing that not everyone deserves access to your energy, your explanations, or your constant reassurance. When you reach that point, when you stop trying to prove yourself to someone who's already made up their mind about you, that's when your silence becomes strength. There comes a time when you realize that words no longer bridge the gap. You've said everything that needed to be said. You've been honest, vulnerable, open. You've explained how you feel, what you need, what you hope for. But when the other person keeps pulling away, when they continue to show indifference or confusion, every extra word starts to lose its meaning. It's not that you stop caring. It's that you stop wasting your breath on someone who refuses to listen. You understand that clarity doesn't come from repetition. It comes from alignment. And if the two of you aren't aligned, no amount of talking will fix that. Silence becomes awareness. It's the awareness that your peace is not negotiable. It's realizing that chasing someone for reassurance will only drain you, and no one can give you peace of mind if they are the source of your chaos. When you choose silence, you shift the focus back to yourself. You begin to listen inwardly to your gut, your boundaries, your needs. You start asking, what does this situation say about what I've been tolerating? Rather than how can I make them see my worth? There's a quiet kind of power in not responding. It unsettles the avoidant because they're used to the cycle. They pull away, you chase, they withdraw again, and you reach out just to keep them close. But when that pattern stops, they no longer have control. Your silence breaks the dynamic that kept you stuck. It's the first real act of self-respect after a long period of emotional negotiation. You stop trying to win them over, and you start reclaiming the energy you were pouring into proving something that should have been obvious from the start. Silence also reveals truth. When you step back, you see who reaches out, who notices your absence, who values your presence. You start to see the difference between someone who truly cares and someone who only misses your attention. Silence doesn't beg, it observes, it allows space for truth to surface. Even if that truth is uncomfortable, maybe they don't care the way you hope they would. Maybe their absence speaks louder than any apology ever could. Choosing silence isn't about punishing someone. It's about protecting yourself. It's not the end of communication. It's the beginning of clarity. You're not walking away in anger. You're walking away in understanding. Silence in its purest form says, I see everything. I understand more than I ever did. And now I choose me. Avoidant behavior often disguises itself as confusion, but it's not confusion at all. It's control. When someone pulls away just as things start to feel real, it's not because they don't know how they feel. It's because they do. They feel the intensity, the vulnerability, the potential of something deeper. And that terrifies them. So instead of leaning in, they create distance. They withdraw affection, delay communication, and send mixed signals. This back and forth keeps you guessing, keeps you chasing, and most importantly, keeps them in control of how close you can get avoidant individuals often learned early that closeness equals danger. Maybe in their past, love meant pain, rejection, or pressure. So they developed a coping mechanism. Stay in control by staying detached. They want connection, but on their terms. Terms that keep them safe from emotional risk. The push and pull, the sudden disappearances, the coldness after moments of warmth. These aren't random behaviors. They're strategies to maintain power in a dynamic where they secretly fear losing it. Every time they sense you getting closer, they retreat because closeness demands vulnerability, and vulnerability feels like a threat. What makes this pattern especially painful is that it tricks the other person into thinking there's something they can do to fix it. You start analyzing every text, every silence, every reaction. You convince yourself that if you just love them more, stay patient, or say the right thing, they'll finally feel safe enough to choose you fully. But in reality, your effort feeds the cycle. The more you chase, the more they pull away. The avoidant doesn't feel the need to step up because you've already taken the responsibility for the connection. Their avoidance gives them power while your hope keeps you trapped. This control isn't always malicious. It's often unconscious, but the effect is the same. You end up feeling small, uncertain, and emotionally drained. You start questioning your worth because the avoidance inconsistency makes you doubt your reality. One moment they make you feel wanted, the next you feel invisible. It's an emotional roller coaster that keeps you addicted to the highs while enduring the lows, hoping things will go back to the way they were in the beginning. That beginning, though, was never sustainable. It was a glimpse of what they're capable of, not what they're ready to maintain. Recognizing this dynamic is painful, but freeing. You start to see that their distance isn't about your value, it's about their limits. Avoidant behavior is an attempt to regulate fear. Fear of needing someone, fear of losing control, fear of being seen too deeply. Understanding this helps you stop personalizing their detachment. It's not your job to make them feel safe enough to love you. Your job is to notice when someone's version of safety keeps you emotionally starving. Because love that requires you to constantly prove you're safe is not love. It's survival dressed as connection. Love is not supposed to feel like decoding a puzzle. It's not meant to leave you second-guessing what someone thinks, feels, or wants from you. When love becomes guesswork, it shifts from connection to anxiety. You find yourself constantly reading between the lines, analyzing tone, replaying conversations, and trying to find hidden meaning in mixed signals. You start to confuse emotional inconsistency with depth, thinking that if you can just understand their behavior, you'll finally earn their certainty. But love that keeps you in a constant state of confusion is not love. It's emotional instability disguised as passion. Real love communicates clearly. It doesn't leave you wondering whether you're valued, prioritized, or wanted. It feels calm, not chaotic. It feels secure, not suspenseful. When someone truly cares, their actions don't contradict their words. They don't disappear to test your patience or come close, only to retreat the moment things get too real. They don't keep you guessing because they respect your peace of mind. Healthy love is transparent. It doesn't rely on manipulation, mystery, or control to keep your attention. The problem with guesswork in relationships is that it keeps your nervous system on high alert. You become addicted to the uncertainty because your mind starts to equate unpredictability with excitement. Every time they withdraw, you crave their presence more. Every time they return, you feel temporary relief, not because things are stable, but because the anxiety pauses for a moment. That cycle makes you believe that the highs are worth the lows, when in truth, you're just becoming accustomed to emotional turbulence. You mistake the absence of tension for love when it's really just exhaustion. When love feels like guesswork, it's often because one person is withholding. Maybe they're afraid of commitment, or maybe they enjoy being pursued. Either way, they control the rhythm of connection, and you end up dancing to their tune without realizing it. You start to mirror their inconsistency. You text less when they do. You act indifferent to protect yourself. You wait for their cues before showing affection. Before long, you lose your sense of authenticity because you're too busy trying to match their emotional pace. You stop asking yourself whether this feels right and instead focus on how to make it work. The truth is, love should feel like a partnership, not a performance. It should feel like being seen, not like constantly auditioning for someone's attention. The right connection doesn't require you to guess where you stand. It reassures you through consistency, effort, and honesty. When someone values you, you won't need to decode their silence or search for hidden meaning in their words. You'll know, not because they say it perfectly, but because they show it repeatedly. When love stops being a guessing game, it becomes what it was always meant to be: safe, mutual, and real. Walking away is often painted as failure, but in reality, it is one of the most powerful demonstrations of strength and self-respect. When you choose to walk away from someone who cannot meet you halfway, you are not losing, you are leading yourself out of confusion, out of emotional imbalance, and out of the illusion that love can be built on one-sided effort. There is nothing weak about deciding that your peace matters more than staying where you are misunderstood. The person who walks away is not the one who gave up. They are the one who finally woke up. It takes immense courage to stop fighting for something that no longer fights for you. The human heart wants to hold on, especially when it has invested deeply. You tell yourself that maybe they will change, maybe they will realize your worth, maybe things will go back to how they were. But love that requires you to abandon yourself in the process isn't love. It's attachment dressed as hope. The moment you recognize that you've been trying to fix what the other person isn't even acknowledging, you start to see that staying is no longer an act of loyalty. It's an act of self-betrayal. When you walk away, you send a message that words could never express, that you will not settle for half love, half effort, or half truths. You stop participating in dynamics that keep you small. You stop begging for the bare minimum and start creating space for the love you actually deserve. Walking away doesn't mean you stopped caring. It means you finally care about yourself enough to stop tolerating things that drain your spirit. It means you are no longer willing to be the only one trying. And here's what often happens. The moment you leave, the other person finally realizes what they've lost. They feel the silence you once filled. They notice the effort that used to come effortlessly from you. But by then, your energy has shifted. You're not walking away to be chased. You're walking away to heal. The power of your departure isn't about making them regret. It's about making yourself whole again. You're showing them, and more importantly, showing yourself, that peace is not something you wait for someone else to provide. It's something you create by removing yourself from where it cannot exist. Walking away is leadership because it models self-worth. It teaches others that love is not measured by endurance, but by reciprocity. When you choose yourself, you redefine what love looks like. Not as endless sacrifice, but as mutual effort and respect. You begin to attract people who meet you with the same energy you give. You show that endings don't always mean failure. Sometimes they are the beginning of alignment. Walking away is not the opposite of love. It's love redirected toward the one person who needed it most all along. Letting go gracefully is one of the hardest and most beautiful acts of self-love you can practice. It doesn't mean pretending you never cared or acting like it didn't hurt. It means acknowledging that something once meaningful has reached its end and choosing to release it without resentment or bitterness. Graceful letting go is about dignity, the kind that comes from knowing your worth and refusing to compromise it, even in the face of disappointment. You don't slam the door or seek revenge. You simply stop opening it. You understand that closure doesn't always come from the other person's apology. Sometimes it comes from your decision to stop needing one. When you let go with grace, you shift the focus from the other person's behavior to your own healing. You stop asking why they couldn't love you the way you needed and start asking how you can love yourself better moving forward. This change in perspective transforms pain into power. You begin to realize that holding on only keeps you tied to a version of yourself that was willing to accept less than you deserve. Letting go becomes an act of self-respect, a quiet declaration that you will no longer fight for a place in someone's life who never fought for a place in yours. There's a misconception that letting go means you stop feeling, but the truth is you can still miss someone and move on. You can still have love for them and know they're not meant to stay. Grace doesn't erase emotion. It channels it into growth. It allows you to walk away without bitterness clouding your heart, because bitterness keeps you tethered. It keeps you in conversation with the past. Grace sets you free. It says, I release you and I release myself. Choosing to let go gracefully is also about trust, trusting that what's meant for you won't require you to beg or prove yourself. It's believing that endings are not punishments, but redirections. The pain of letting go often comes from the illusion of control, the belief that if you just tried harder, loved better, or waited longer, things could have turned out differently. But love that's truly meant for you won't require you to sacrifice your peace to keep it. It will meet you where you are, not demand that you shrink to fit. When you walk away with grace, you leave a lasting impression, not because of what you say, but because of what you don't. You don't need to prove your worth or announce your growth. The silence of your peace speaks volumes. Those who couldn't see your value before will feel the absence of your calm presence long after you've gone. Letting go gracefully is not about forgetting the love that was shared, but about honoring yourself enough to stop chasing what no longer reciprocates. It's the moment you choose freedom over frustration, peace over pride, and self-respect over the illusion of control. When you finally step back and see the whole picture, you realize that love was never meant to be a battlefield where one person fights to be seen while the other hides behind walls. It was meant to be mutual, a space where both people feel safe to give, receive, and grow. The avoidance biggest mistake was believing your patience was permanent, that your love would wait indefinitely while they decided whether to show up. But you've learned that waiting forever is not love. It's self-abandonment. And you're done abandoning yourself. You've discovered that silence isn't weakness, it's awareness. Avoidance isn't confusion, it's control. You've learned that love shouldn't feel like guesswork and that walking away isn't losing. It's leading. Most importantly, you now understand that the real power lies in letting go with grace. Because when you choose peace over chaos, clarity over confusion, and self-respect over desperation, you don't just move on, you move upward. The truth is, the avoidant may never realize the full depth of what they lost, but you will. You'll see it in the peace that follows. You'll feel it in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you didn't have to beg for love. You simply had to remember you were worthy of it all along. So, as this chapter closes, don't look back with regret. Look forward with pride. You didn't fail because it ended. You grew because you finally chose yourself. And one day, when love comes again, it will meet you at the level you've raised yourself to. Not because you waited forever, but because you learned when to stop waiting. Thank you for listening, for feeling, and for choosing growth over pain. Remember, walking away from what doesn't value you isn't the end of your story. It's the beginning of the one where you finally become the main character. Take your heart, your lessons, and your strength and carry them forward. You didn't lose them. You found you. Thank you, truly. And take care of your peace.